Hi, so I'm just gonna jump right into what happened during my 14-week. Um, yeah, so hopefully this helps anyone who is experiencing bleeding around this time, because obviously everything worked out and I'm okay, baby's okay, but just warning, this is one of those videos that talks about a pregnancy scare. So yeah, week 14, I'm not working at this point, so I do nothing. I literally just lay in bed all day watching TV, and I might come downstairs to make myself some breakfast. I'm taking it easy, not because I have to, but because I'm not working and I'm not really doing anything. So it was a real big surprise when I went to the bathroom after like hours of doing nothing, just sitting and chilling, to discover that blood was coming out. So it was, the color of the blood was about, at first, like a pink watery color, pinkish reddish, and it was just coming out. Not when I wiped, but just like through doing nothing, it was coming out. So I freaked out a little bit, or a lot. I didn't know what to do. I called my OBGYN office. I didn't have an appointment with them for another like 2 weeks. So I called them. At this point, I'm no longer at the IVF clinic. They have transitioned me after 9 weeks to see the OBGYN, which is a whole nother video on that topic, because you spend sometimes months, if not years, working with the IVF clinic, and then as soon as you get pregnant, I mean, that's it. You're now, off into the world. And so the people, the nurses that I had formed a relationship with at the IVF clinic, who knew my backstory, who knew everything about my body and had done all these tests, I could no longer rely on them. I could no longer call them. So I had to call the OBGYN office, who I'd only seen once before, I think at my 10 or 11 week appointment for the first time. So I called them and I said, hi, this is my name. I have an appointment coming up in the next 2 weeks, but I just discovered that I'm bleeding and I want to know if I can come in now. And they said that if it gets worse, go to the hospital. Otherwise, they don't have any availability for today, but I can come first thing tomorrow morning. So I made an appointment to go first thing the next morning, just in case. And I hung up the phone, and they told me to just take it easy, as if I hadn't already been taking it easy. So I took it even more easy. I literally lied in bed all day, except when I had to go to the bathroom. And I dreaded going to the bathroom because I knew more blood was going to come out. Throughout the day, this happened around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I spotted the blood. After about a few hours, the blood went from pinkish to reddish to now brownish, and it was coming out less and less. So I took that as a good sign. I just kept praying that it would continue to lessen and hopefully slow down completely and then stop. I was really scared to tell my husband when he got home, because I feel like I handle loss a little bit better than he does. But to my surprise, I told him, and he was silent for, a few minutes. And then he just, started to say really encouraging things, and we prayed together. Well, he like prayed to me, so that was really comforting. And we continued to just believe in God's promise, and really stay strong in our faith. At least that's what he was saying, and I believed it. And so the next day, bright and early, we both went to the doctor's appointment at the OBGYN clinic, and the ultrasound technician, is moving the thing around on my stomach, and the first thing she says, and she doesn't really talk much, so talk about anxiety, just sitting there in silence, waiting to find out if the baby's okay. The first thing she says is that baby looks good. And then she has this confused look on her face because she can't find my placenta and where it is in relation to my cervix. She says there's some sort of substance blocking her view. So she can't figure it out. We're in there for about 15 minutes, silence most of the time. She can't see, other than she sees that the baby is fine. So she writes something down and gives it to the doctor. We go into the doctor's office, and the doctor says that she wants to do a vaginal ultrasound. Not a vaginal ultrasound, but just actually she stuck in like a catheter vaginally. And I said, before you do that, I just want to let you know I was taking a lot of progesterone before I got pregnant and up until about 9 weeks of pregnancy. So there might still be some progesterone tissue left over. And she's like, really? That it shouldn't still be there. I mean, you stopped taking progesterone at 9 weeks and you're 14 weeks now. And I said, yeah, it usually comes out when I get my period, but since I haven't got my period, it hasn't really fully come out. And she goes in me with, she has the like, it's almost like a pap smear thing where it's like this tool that opens up and literally digs out wads and wads of crenone, of progesterone gel. Like, my husband told me that he saw like this much coming out of me. And she said, oh my gosh, that must have been what was blocking the ultrasound technician's view. I was going to tell you to go to the hospital because we couldn't see on the ultrasound where your placenta was, but I'm going to have you go back to the ultrasound tech in the other room, and hopefully she'll look again. And now that the, I'm sorry, the sunlight is crazy. Now that the crenone, the progesterone gel, is out of view, because I dug out a lot, we'll see if she has a better view. And so I'm like, okay, this is good, I think. So we go back into the ultrasound tech room, and she says that she can see a lot better now. She sees that the placenta is close to the cervix, and she thinks that might be the cause of the bleeding. They call it placenta previa, which means that when your placenta hasn't moved yet up in the uterus, it's very close to the cervix, and that could cause bleeding and a lot of like tension on the cervix. So I didn't know what to think of that other than, thank you God, this is not a miscarriage. I'm bleeding. I don't know how to stop the bleeding other than pray that my placenta moves. And yeah, so that was a pretty scary few days. And they told me to follow up with the hospital for a deeper, more intense ultrasound so they can see the pictures a lot clearer. So I went to the hospital. I made an appointment for about 4 weeks later, and so I'm about like 18, 19 weeks at this point, and they've seen that the placenta has now moved up a little bit. So thank God everything's okay. I know a lot of women bleed during their pregnancy, and it's scary to not know why. So placenta previa, I didn't want to Google it, but of course the husband did. And we found out that it's pretty common that your placenta is very low to the cervix when you're in your first few weeks of pregnancy, and usually it moves up during the second trimester. And that was the case with me. I haven't bled since, and I'm well into my second trimester now. So yeah, I hope this helps. I'm sorry that it was one of those scary pregnancy scare videos, but the next few that I'm going to do are just regular pregnancy updates. She's doing well, I'm doing well. So far so good. God is definitely answering all of our prayers, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.